Oh, it doesn't matter. It'll disappear us when it starts.
Oh, it's just good.
Mongoose whisper through the trees, cold winds carrying their pleas. Lives ended, stories untold, a heart of stone, a grip gone cold. They said it was him, they swore it was clear, blonde hair like smoke, the devil near. They said it was him, they swore it was clear, blonde hair like smoke, the devil near, a heart of stone, a grip gone cold. Mongoose whisper through the trees, cold winds carrying their pleas. Lives ended, stories untold. They said it was him, they swore it was clear, blonde hair like smoke, the devil near. They said it was him, they swore it was clear, blonde hair like smoke, the devil near.
Where are we? Come back. Hello. Good morning.
What have you done to me?
I'm laughing at my disclaimer. Did you read it?
Yes, I did. I'm up for lots of opinions.
If you want.
Apparently, my dog's giving opinions as well in the background. So, hope you're up for his too.
Oh, that was funny. I'd forgotten I'd done that.
Oh, right.
Yes, we're not here for legal advice, but if you want expert opinions, we got them.
Oh, I've got lots of opinions. I'm not sure they're expert, but
drop it in and out. She might be having bad weather over there. Anyway, good morning in the US. Good evening. Well, that's probably good morning in Australia too, isn't it? We are doing episode 4. Wow. Where does the time go? Episode 4 of our Martin Bryant Port Arthur Massacre presentation. 4 of 10-ish, maybe 11. And today we have a special guest here, Miss Bron, who is going to help us do some psychoanalysis.
Oh, cool. Some psychoanalysts. Yep. Okay.
Yes,
so, Jodie, do you want to just lie down on that couch behind?
Absolutely, I do. I absolutely do.
Yeah.
So we're going to, because there are so many evaluations and so many assessments and assessors, and at different times of Martin's life, Ron's broken it up so that we're sort of going to do it in segments where we go in his childhood, adolescence, and then later on, and then again after his arrest and sentencing. So I'm going to put it all in Bron's hands, and I'm going to do as I'm told. and bring up whatever I need to bring up and smile and laugh and point where I need to point.
Yep, that'd be great.
So enjoy.
We might start off with the timeline, if that's
the forensic timeline.
Yeah, I think so.
That one?
If that's easy to bring up so we can
I
see
will
it.
say too. Now, StreamYard have, in their wisdom, I've got a new layout where you can stream in portrait mode or in landscape mode. So you have the choice. So 2 streams will come up on my site, and the one that has the P in front of it is the portrait viewing for your mobiles and stuff. So if you want to watch it on your computer, just choose the normal one. Alrighty.
So I'm just trying to get back to us now. Okay.
Yeah.
So I've got mine on a slightly different screen, but I'm making sure that I'm actually I'm not looking at the same document. So that's probably not a great thing. But
So
I am looking at the first part. Okay. So the first part, actually, I can't even see that. So I am going to pull up that document.
Okay. I don't think I can.
Just give me 2 seconds.
I can't make it any bigger.
Hang on. There it is. Nope, it's called the same thing. Oh, no. Yeah, I do have it. I do have it right here. Okay, so this is all dealing with, these are all of the documents, or actually, these are all the assessment dates. So rather than looking at the different assessors or the different reports that we've got, these are all the dates that Martin Bryant was assessed. So the actual event date was 28th or 29th. Just remind me. Of April.
29th, I think.
Actually, sorry, it was the 28th into the 29th, wasn't it?
Yes, the Seascape overnight. Yes.
So Martin Bryant would have arrived at Royal Hobart Hospital on the 29th.
Correct.
Then you might be able to see there on the 1st of May, he had a CT scan and a neurological assessment. So by neurological assessment, we mean by a neurologist. So those are purely physical assessments. Then on the 4th of May, Professor Paul Mullen, who's a forensic psychiatrist, came up from Victoria and assessed him when he was in the Royal Hobart. I'm just doing it straight. Then on the 10th of May, we had Ian Joblin, who came for the first time. I did look up where he was from. I think I wrote it on his report.
Oh,
I think we'll be able to see that
I
later.
did that. Where did it go?
I have a feeling he might be from New South Wales, if I remember correctly.
You asked me to do that, and I did.
No, it was Ian Sale I asked you about, I think.
Yes, it was.
So that's a mouse, I think, of mine or something. Something's beeping at me. Sorry, I've got something beeping.
That's better.
Has it got bigger?
Yep, I biggened it. You should be able to read that now.
Okay, great. I'll come back to there. Perfect. Okay, yep. You've got, yep.
All right, so
excuse me one moment. I'm just going to try to quieten my dog. Just a minute. You can keep reading down them if you like.
So,
Just doing a quick overview.
Yep. So the first one, the 1st of May 1996, was just straight after he was brought in from Seascape, and he was admitted to Royal Hobart Hospital with 3rd-degree burns to his back, and quite a substantial area as well. And so he was brought in heavily armed, heavily guarded, basically, with the special ops, and he was put into they sort of emptied out the old burns unit ward and isolated him in there because there were all of the actual victims from the massacre that were actually being treated at the same hospital, and they didn't want A to meet B, basically. So they had him heavily guarded in the burns unit. And so this would have happened, this would have come in straight from Seascape, and then he was actually, the police tried to interview him that same day, but he wasn't coherent enough, so they came back to the bedside next day. But then it looks like there's been 3 days then since that seascape incident where he was seen by Professor Mullen, and he is the forensic psychiatrist. He's a pompous git, if you ask me, but anyway, it's my opinion.
He's I mean,
don't like him.
Part of the reason he gives that air is because he has a British accent as well. So he speaks
that posh British accent. It's not like
it's a very posh accent,
yes,
and I find that accentuates what is actually quite a dismissive attitude generally. It's the way he speaks to staff as well. It's the way he addresses everyone, actually,
really?
even his contemporaries. It's just, I think it is just a manner of speaking, but it's very off-putting. And it's amazing what people of who have a certain authority can get away with, because people don't call them to account for it. You know, they don't get pulled up for it. So, but I certainly think his accent actually accentuates it.
For sure.
So anyway, Professor Mullen would have been called in because he's always called in with big incidents like this.
Is he based in Tasmania, or is he?
No, he was Victoria. So at this point he would have been the director of Victorian Forensic Care. So Victorian, I'll think of it. Victorian Institute of gee, I can't even remember where I used to work. I mean, I know the name of it.
Well, you used to work with him, did you?
I should say that, shouldn't I? I'll get to that in a minute. It was called Forensic Care, but it changed its name. So Forensic Care is Victoria. I was right. Victorian Institute of Forensic Mental Health is the full name. It was Mont Park. Some people might.
Yes.
If anyone's listening from Melbourne, they'll know it as Mont Park, which is over in
Western Suburbs.
Yeah, and I'm just really hoping I haven't lost you, because I can't see StreamYard anyway. So I'll find you somewhere. You'll be somewhere on my computer. Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you.
I'll just chat along until I can find you again.
I've disappeared into the abyss.
I've got no idea where you are.
I could.
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh, I'm getting crap now.
Actually, I know. If I just close that. Perfect. Found you. Okay. So we'll hear actually a little bit more about that assessment in someone else's assessment. It's actually quite interesting. You get quite a lot of insight into Prof. Mullen's assessment through someone else's.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really fascinating how
the assessor.
They refer to each other's assessment, because one of them has trouble with him talking and can't work out why, and then works out that it's because there are guards in the room and he doesn't want to talk. So that was Dr. William Lucas. So there you've got, on the 4th of May, you've got Professor Mullen. And then on the 10th of May, you've got, that should be Dr. Ian Joblin. I don't know why it's come up as Mr. Yeah. That's an error. He's got a doctorate. He's got a doctorate in forensic psychology, though.
Did you say that was right?
Oh gosh, that's loud. Yeah, that was my error too. Thanks. So he did heaps and heaps of different neuropsych testing. He also came up with some really interesting theories about whether, do you remember he had a car accident? Martin had a car accident.
Oh, yes, with Helen.
Yeah. He thinks that maybe he had some left hemisphere brain damage as a result of that car accident.
He had a neck injury, didn't he?
Back
injury.
About
7 months, or is that right?
Several
longer?
months. And, I would love to see any nursing notes or
I have,
basically any notes from that time,
yep,
because in my opinion, those
yes,
notes would be the most valuable of
correct.
anything,
I have
because
a
that
nurse's
was,
name
pardon?
that I have the name of one of the nurses that
Right.
I am going to contact who worked.
Because in my opinion, that was immediately post a major grief episode. Like he lost.
How long between losing his dad and this?
I'm not sure. We'll be able to see in one of the reports because they've got
Yep.
those 2 dates. But he just lost a very close friend. He just had a traumatic accident, and he'd lost pets as well. So
Yes, I think 3 of
lots
the
and lots
dogs.
of loss there, and he'd lost mobility and everything. So, and how he would have coped with that, I don't know. And you'd get a lot of insight into his personality, I think, from those.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll just zip through this. Then there's another consultant psychiatrist. When it says consultant psychiatrist, it means forensic psychiatrist. They're all very experienced, the ones that come through here. William Lucas, I think, was from Tasmania. Again, it's probably written on the report. I know I looked them all up, so you can zip down again.
Go down further.
Yep. Next page. Is there a next page? Yeah.
Yeah. Look.
So, and then he submitted his report on the 31st. And Ian Joblin, if you just scroll up, so Ian Joblin started his assessments on the 10th of May, came back a month later. So there was actually a month between them, pretty much.
Was
and
he
then
the one gave him the IQ
yes,
rating? Okay.
that's part of the neuropsych. Yep.
Yep.
He did a lot of assessments. It was really good. And he's the one that went back through all the school reports and wrote all about Dr. Cunningham Dack's reports, went back through the childhood doctor's notes. His was the most thorough of anyone's. Dr. Ian Sale, we don't have that, but it was quoted in Professor Mullen's. Now, it's got documentation there for a reason. Scroll down a bit further.
Hang on 1 second. I'm just... yeah. Lost it.
And then you'll see 12th of November, so just before he was his hearing, his final hearing and sentencing, Professor Mullen put his report in. So there's an enormous gap between when Professor Mullen did his assessment
in May
and when that final report is, but there is a report in the middle, and I'll show you where.
Oh. So he basically waited until all these other people did it, and then
nope. Bring up Dr. William Lucas's report. Can you zoom that in at all?
No,
so we can read it.
Hang on.
No,
I can, but that one is just the PDF, so I can't zoom that. But if I go into a shared screen, I can. So I'll go in and find it.
Yeah, go in that way.
Yeah. Psych 2, William Lucas.
Yeah.
Open. And get rid of you. And
thanks.
That's all right, isn't it? Zoom.
Lovely. So we can see there immediately that it's to David Gunson. So it's in David Gunson's time. That he was written to on the 6th of May. And you can see there what he's being asked to do. So he was being asked to do a psychic.
His first attorney that asked for William Lucas's report.
Correct. Yep. So his first attorneys have asked for all of these reports.
Yeah, that's after Paul Mullen did his. Oh, sorry. No, I'm looking at 7th of May. Sorry.
Yep. So
Normal.
just let me read this. Yep. And you'll get the timing of it. So thanks for your letter dated 6th of May, requesting a psychiatric assessment of Mr. Martin Bryant, who has been charged with 1 count of murder. So he was charged with 1 count of murder on the day.
Why was that? Hello. How you doing? Welcome. Good to have you.
Why was he charged with 1 immediately and no one else?
Oh, that was so that they could.
And why that one? Why
Yeah.
that one? I don't know.
Yeah.
I originally assumed it was one from Seascape, but it wasn't. It was actually
They wanted
one
to do
from
2, apparently. I remember
Pardon?
now. They wanted to charge him with 2 so that they could keep him remanded, but they only did 1 for some reason.
Yeah,
I heard it briefly today.
I don't know the reason why. It would be a technicality, I imagine. I imagine they had to charge him quickly or
Yes.
within 24 hours
Yep.
with
To keep him.
1 to hold him.
Yes.
I don't know why that one in particular. Maybe
wonder-
there was someone there that could identify her, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, so he says, your letter was accompanied by a copy of a report dated 6th of May, prepared by Professor Paul Mullen.
Okay.
So
Good
we know...
morning, madam. Sorry.
It's all right.
Did you find us? Tracy is my number 1.
Lovely.
Yeah,
Hello.
She's in Kentucky.
Oh,
Yep.
is it warm or cold there?
Getting cold over there, freezing. Opposite to us.
We could have some cool. That'd be nice, thank you.
Tracy is the one who introduced the sheriff shooting the judge because it's not far from her.
Oh, right.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, we've all got our cases.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, actually, Paul Mullen wrote his report in 2 days. So he was actually pretty quick.
And he only submitted it.
Pardon?
He only submitted it.
He submitted it immediately. We just don't have it. So, yeah, that's one that is missing from the files.
Okay.
So, I don't know where these reports are from.
Well,
that's a bit rude.
Yeah.
Having a hard time getting your stream to play.
Maybe I closed one down.
What did you do?
Hey?
It's nothing to do with me. It's Jodie.
No, it's the first time I've streamed with the two modes.
Oh.
That might be an issue. I don't know.
Which one are people using?
I can't tell from where I am. All right, I'll go in and close one. I'll close the portrait one. You keep going. I can do that.
Okay, no problem. So with this request for an assessment, they actually sent a copy of Chapter 4 of the Criminal Code Act 1924, which dealt with criminal responsibility. When I visited Tasmania to interview Mr. Bryant, you gave me copies of relevant material from his file at the Royal Hobart Hospital, where he was treated before his transfer to hospital at Risdon Prison. His hospital records included lengthy notes made by members of the psychiatric staff. So he was seen by psych staff in the hospital as well, just general psych staff.
Just from their regular, yep.
Mm-hmm. From the psych unit there.
Yep.
And the results of a CT brain scan and a neurological assessment carried out on 1st May 1996.
Oh, shit.
Okay, so that's that page.
Sorry, I can't change it.
So, that's okay. So although Paul Mullen was the first one to assess him, because we don't have that report,
Mm.
I think this is the first assessment that we've actually got.
This is after.
This is after
After
Paul
yeah,
Mullen had assessed him. So if you just scroll up just a fraction there, you will see here. Okay, no, I'm sorry. He'd actually already been assessed by Ian Joplin at this stage. I understand that he had been assessed by Ian Joplin, so maybe he'd done his first one. At the time of writing this report, I do not know the results of Mr. Joplin's assessments, and they were getting the school reports. Now, Mr. Joplin had the school reports to write his, so, but I don't see those really reflected here. So I'm not sure if he actually wrote them. So the next part is probably the most significant in terms of justice, in my opinion. Scroll back a little. Yeah, there. So on 12th of May, I went to Risdon Prison. So he'd been moved from the hospital to the prison hospital. So although
like at the prison hospital,
it's a hospital, yeah. Oh well, it's. I mean, I guess if I had to classify it, it's a little bit more like a medical centre, or if you've ever seen like those shows where you see the prison hospitals, that's what it's like. They're almost like cubicles, I guess a bit like an emergency department. So they're more like cubicles rather than like you don't have your own room or anything like that. It's like cubicles with curtains down them, that sort of thing.
That's all right, as long as they're getting the care though.
Oh, 24-hour nurse. Yeah, always. And more than one nurse on it all the time, and guards in there as well. Often it's a place where people are when they need extra support, as well as if they're not well. But not when they're mentally ill. So when they're mentally ill, they will get other treatment. But yeah, there's just a bit of a fine line there. But if they just need extra support and care, that's where they'll be.
Yep.
As well. So it's kind of a bit of a gentler place. Generally, though, hang on to your hat here.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, yeah. So I went to Risdon Prison and interviewed Mr. Bryant in the hospital. The interview was for approximately 2 hours, which is standard. I returned on 13th of May and conducted another interview of the same duration. Again, standard. I would have said about 4 hours per assessment was about right. I've already spoken to you about my initial impressions of Mr. Bryant and given an opinion on the issues of fitness to plead and criminal responsibility. Although Mr. Bryant, because he would have done that in the first assessment. Yep, but he's waiting to hear back. Although Mr. Bryant alternated between being realistic and unrealistic about his situation and possible legal outcomes, I formed the opinion that he will be fit to plead, but will require some explanation and education on relevant matters. So here's someone else saying the same thing.
Yes.
So I think they all said something quite similar.
But he didn't.
We don't. Well, he didn't during the police interview, but then he didn't have a lawyer there either.
Right, exactly.
And their Professor Mullen's report writes something about he has recordings, I think video recordings from conferences between Martin and the lawyer that were recorded for him to review or something. I'd have to look at that again. That might have just been my interpretation. My initial impression was that Martin would not have a defence of mental illness under the provisions of Tasmania's criminal code. Yep, because I'll tell you why in a minute. Further information from and about him will be necessary before I form a firm opinion on this, although I think it unlikely my initial one will need to be changed. I will need to know more about Mr. Bryant's mental state and actions at the relevant time, as when I interviewed him, he was not able or did not wish to go into any detail. In fact, he did not give me the information he apparently gave Professor Mullen, and in general did not confirm what he had told him on the subject. As our examination of Mr. Bryant, wherein other respects quite similar, I believe a number of factors may have influenced Mr. Bryant's willingness or ability to discuss these matters with me. I've spoken to Professor Mullen about his examination of Mr. Bryant, and he told me that, as I suspected, he had the opportunity of speaking to Mr. Bryant alone. For only a part of their time together, the officer from Perpetual Trustees Tasmania Limited, who deals with Mr. Bryant's affairs, was present, and not, I understand, when they spoke of Port Arthur. Also, the interview was conducted in a hospital setting. The circumstances of my interview were quite different, and it is best that I describe them here. Now, if you've got that sort of line that says, I'm going to describe them, and you can form your own opinion of what happened. As you know, Mr. Bryant was transferred to the hospital at Risdon Prison while still requiring some hours of daily nursing care. So hours of daily nursing care from staff at the Royal Hobart Hospital's Burns unit. It seems that transfer from the Royal Hobart Hospital involved negotiating certain security arrangements which, to my observation, were very strict. Mr. Bryant would have been quite aware of the general tenor of these. One requirement in operation at the time of my visit was that at all times a prison officer had to be present in the room where he lay handcuffed to his hospital bed. For my interviews, one hand was released so that he could move more comfortably and have a drink. You just scrolled past it. I can't read that bit. Have a drink, something. Have a drink when he required one. Although we spoke quietly, our conversation could in large part be overheard, and at times the prison officer was not far from his bed. Also, at one stage during our discussion of Port Arthur, I turned and noted a second prison officer in the room. I must say that the prison staff were considerate and as unobtrusive as possible in the circumstances. However, it must be granted that most people in Mr. Bryant's situation or anything like it would be reluctant to discuss what they had done in front of third parties not directly involved in assisting them with their defence.
Do you know how to take this off full screen again so I can see the drive or not?
See the bottom right? There's that square. Is that it?
Can't see.
What are you looking for?
I just want to, you know how we've got it on full screen? I want to go back into the drive so I can pull out another tab.
No, it's not. Oh.
You know how we put it onto full screen? We went in and said,
no, that was in Word. That's a Word thing. Oh. This is a PDF. So you can close that for the moment.
I just want to quickly grab. Oh, we don't want to share that.
That's okay.
I'll just grab something else out. Hang on. Go on.
Sure.
Give me 2 seconds.
While you're getting that, I can just briefly say that, yes, I worked with Professor Mullen, but more significantly, when I started working in forensic mental health or forensic psychiatry, I'm an occupational therapist, and I worked on the women's unit in Melbourne, and it's basically, I never know how to describe it. It looks like a prison, like it's got very, very high walls. When you walk in, like, the units are all locked. It's got very, very high security, but at the same time, there's a lot of freedom inside. We don't have like bars on windows, or it's a lot more relaxed than prison. And there's a lot of rehabilitation and a lot of therapy. So it's different in that way from prison. But the psychiatrist, because my unit we only had capacity, I think we had 15 beds instead of 20 beds. So the men's units were 20 beds, we were 15 or 13. And so our psychiatrist had extra time, like, they were 0.7 or something. So they had an extra 0.3 that Prof Mullen could do whatever he wanted, because he's the director, with their time. And at that time, I have to tell you about it sometime, Jodie. There was a big problem with forensic mental health in Tasmania. And basically they sacked the one forensic psychiatrist that there was.
Oh.
And so there was no one in charge of forensic psychiatry in Tasmania. So Victoria took over the running of, I've just lost the name of it. I don't know why. I lost it earlier too. I looked it up and then I lost it again. It's a 2-pronged name.
I remember you saying that.
Let me just find it again. Here we go. It's called Wilfred Lopez Centre. I think I've got a photo of it here. Oh, no, I don't. I've just got the fact sheet. I thought there was a photo of it. No. Okay, so it's located near Risdon Prison, but it's not part of the prison. I can read you a bit about it if you like. It provides care and treatment for people with mental health issues who are involved with the criminal system. The centre provides up to 35 beds and includes high dependency, extended care, and semi-independent living. We provide care for people who require specialist mental health inpatient treatment and inmates of the Tasmanian Prison Service, are appearing in or remanded from magistrate and Supreme Courts, are found not guilty by reason of insanity or unfit to plead and placed on a forensic order, or may require specialist care due to risk to themselves or others.
So all care
is provided in line with the Tasmanian Mental Health Act 2013. That's where Martin Bryant was when I started working in forensic. So it was the very end of 2000, start of 2001. The psychiatrist on my unit was seconded to be the psychiatrist for the Tasmanian Forensic Psychiatric Service, and he worked with Martin Bryant. So I know that he was in forensic then, and he was in there for about 15 years, I gather. So, but then the story that I was told by a prison officer was that he was sent back to prison because he developed a fixation on a nurse in the forensic psych system.
Is that something quite normal with his?
Well, I mean, it can happen with any of the psych patients, really. I mean, it's because, when they have difficulty making friends and difficulty forming relationships, and you've got the same staff all the time.
Yeah.
We
used to have a lot of that in the geriatric.
Exactly. And, in a lot of ways, it is very similar to like a nursing home, because they're there for extended times. I think we should go over to
where would you like to go today? The square window?
Yeah. Well, I think Ian Joblin's report.
Ian Joblin, look at that.
I mean, even though he's not a psychiatrist and we're going to do psychiatry stuff, I think his is the most interesting because it's the most comprehensive.
All right.
So,
this is all about Martin, is it, this one?
Yeah.
All right.
So,
where we go?
Ian Joblin. So this is one that I have retyped. So the version that is on screen now is a retyped version. So that's in full screen, isn't it? Yep. Yeah. So anything you see highlighted, that's my highlighting. So I'll try. Actually, I might bring that up to, then I can just follow along here.
43, far out.
It's a very big report. It's really well written though, so it's very easy to read. And there are big bunches where he doesn't, like where, you know, you can skip over it. But the good thing is that he's got all of the information here, like the dates of birth and that, like, you know, so his father's date of death is right there. So 14th of August, 1993.
So it's 3 years.
Is when his dad died.
And he was found in someone's
dam?
Yeah.
The dam on their property.
Oh, and Martin's and he inherited from Helen, yes. Wasn't it?
No, I think it was their property at near Port Arthur, wasn't it?
I can't remember. I've read so many reports and so many.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I know it was in. Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't recall either. I'm just going to change my view here. Oh, that won't work very well.
So Lindy's 5 years younger, is she?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, 5, 6 years younger even. Yeah, it'll say further in here. So, and she was in Western Australia at the time.
And she's gone AWOL. You cannot find her anywhere. She's changed her name. Disappeared.
Yeah, I know what her name is though. I've got it written down somewhere. I actually do know what her name is, but I don't intend to use it. Can't even remember how I found it, but I did find it. The interesting thing here, I think I did it in green, which doesn't work. That's meant to be black. So Martin's father, I said to Jodie earlier today that we need to remember when these reports were done and when these assessments were done.
And
so these assessments were done. These assessments were done in around, so we'll just say May, just to be really simple. So May, which was a month after the Port Arthur massacre. Yep. So if we just consider who's being assessed here, it's Martin, who's got very severe burns to his body. So he's going to be in a lot of pain and he's going to be having pain medication. He's also restrained heavily. He's under 24-hour guard. We know that the guards did not treat him well. He's got nursing care as well. I gather that the nurses were actually very good to him at the prison. The guards were not, at least after a few months, they were not. I don't know about the early days. They may have been not too bad while he was in the hospital section because there were other people around, but certainly after a few months they weren't great at all. But Carleen, right from the start, I think was really thrown. And I think you'll see by this report that she was thinking back. I mean, if I was to read into this, I'd be saying she was asking herself, what can I see in his childhood that might explain what has gone wrong?
Yeah.
Like, how can I can't even put this together. That's what I can almost hear
She
between the
didn't really
lines.
understand what mental health.
She didn't understand. Well, not so much that, but more like, this is something that is so huge. Why did I not see it? And so she describes things that, well, she describes things that in and of themselves, they are concerning, but they're not that concerning. Like, I mean, so I could play devil's advocate and say, actually, these things all add up. And yep, they are concerning, and they are, but I'll talk about it later, and I'll show you the difference between two different things.
Do you want me to scroll down?
In his school reports. No, it's easier if I just do it when it comes up. So his mum, this is a really classic one. Bryant described his father in very positive terms, and his mother described him as probably Martin's only friend. I mean, that's a really lovely thing to say, but it also said Martin has no friends.
Yeah.
Martin has never had any friends. Yeah. So, yeah. The next sentence I thought was extremely important. There was apparently no history of attention from the police or drug or alcohol abuse with Mr. Bryant, or in fact, any other member of his family.
Yeah. So they're looking to place blame.
No, that's Mr. Bryant is Martin.
Yeah.
So Martin has never, ever come to the attention of police. He has never been in trouble for any drug or alcohol use, and nor has any member of his family. Now, if you look at people who commit these sorts of violent crimes,
they lead up to it.
It doesn't just happen. And I'm not saying that is always in the background, but there's a constellation of things, and often they will have been in trouble from the police.
Yep.
Or at least their behaviours are problematic to the point where they're hiding them. So they might be, for example, just trying to think. They might have got away with a lot of crimes. They may not have come to the attention of police, but they might have hidden a lot of crimes, or they might have just not got caught.
But it was a small little town, so...
Oh, I have no doubt that he was not. He had not been involved in crimes.
That's why I don't believe any of the neighbours' stuff that Mullins brings in. You know, that's all hearsay.
I do. Well,
that would have been reported. Surely there would have been a police report of some sort.
No, not in those days. Not in those days, and not in that sort of area. No, I don't think so. Not with other things I've read about the area. And when we come to the school reports, I think you might change your mind. It will really shock you. Scroll down to dynamics. It is inappropriate to consider, let me rephrase that. We can consider that, we can agree that Bryant was born into and raised in a functional family. That's what that first sentence actually says. Is that
functional family?
No. I'm going to reword the first sentence so that it is easier to understand. That first sentence actually says, we can agree that Bryant was raised in a reasonably functional family.
Yes.
As will be seen in this section, both his mother and father were acutely aware of the difficulties Bryant was having at school, and those difficulties are recorded in his school reports and files. They are outlined in the education system section of the report.
Just their parenting styles were just polar opposites.
Yeah, you get that idea. His father constantly endeavoured to adhere to instructions from professionals, such as the psychiatrist to whom Bryant was taken in his early years. I highlighted that, it's a bit hard to read on the screen, because nowhere else did it say that he'd actually seen a psychiatrist in the early years, but I think that the psychiatrist may have conducted one of those early assessments, which we'll be able to see in a few minutes. When Bryant left school, his father ensured he was kept active.
So
until he met.
how old was Martin in this one with Ian Joplin?
Pardon?
Is this in 1996?
Yes.
Retrospectively?
This is being written in 1996.
Okay.
Yeah. So his very first kind of attention to the professionals was in preschool, and it was speech therapy. And this is quite interesting. I'm assuming it's easiest if we read it.
Yep.
So he did speech therapy at the Royal Hobart Hospital. He began his education at a private school called Friends School. It's quite an exclusive school in a very nice part of Hobart, but was advised shortly after to attend a doctor. He saw Dr. Wayne, who referred Bryant to Dr. Rushton. Oh, there you go. That's the psychiatrist.
Okay.
Dr. Rushton, child psychiatrist. I missed that. Okay, good.
Found it. Stop looking.
Yeah, I'm just highlighting it. Dr. Rushton apparently placed Bryant on a medication which continued for some 2 years. Mr. Martin, his dad, investigated a special diet, and Bryant was placed on the Feingold diet.
Ooh,
now, I remember this because there was a kid in my primary school grade, and his name was Dylan, and I still remember Dylan. I'm not going to give you his surname because you never know, he might be watching. I don't think so, but you never know. And I remember Dylan was on that diet, and Dylan was hyperactive as well.
Oh.
So,
was it low sugar, low
Chino, stop.
chemicals?
My dog is scratching the front door like I'm going to take him out for a walk. It's 1:20 in the morning.
I
don't think he's connected that yet.
Sit.
Yeah, exactly. So apparently it actually helped his hyperactivity and disruptive behaviour.
The medication did.
Hang on. What? He was hyperactive and disruptive.
Really?
Oh, okay. So the only way we found out he was hyperactive and disruptive was to find out that the diet actually helped with that.
So did the medication work?
That's where I actually like this report, because it's like, oh, so that's why he went to the child psychiatrist, because he was hyperactive in class. Oh, and disruptive in class. Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So, and his dad would take him for exercises in order to burn up some of his energy.
Yep.
I'd say he was really hyperactive, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
So when he was 7, in mid-1975, the family went to England for a holiday, which was his first trip overseas. Then they bought the shack near Port Arthur. Now, this is the story about Seascape. Have you heard this full story?
I've heard versions of it, and I don't know what one to believe.
Okay.
So.
On return, they saw an advertisement for a shack for sale near Port Arthur, and the family bought this when he was 7. They owned this property for 16 years. Mrs. Bryant had horses and would often look for places to adjust horses. A farm near their shack came on the market.
Then.
Pardon?
They wouldn't have been short of a quid then, because that horse adjustment back in then, I know, because I had a horse. It wasn't cheap.
Tasmania was a bit different, and it's open farmland, not metro. So it would be more like Ballarat. But yeah. A farm near their shack came on the market, and Mr. Bryant, so his dad, wished to purchase the farm. Mrs. Bryant believes that her husband never forgave her. Remember that.
Yes, yes.
Just
That's
remember
right. It
those
wasn't the Martin.
words.
Mhm.
No, remember this point. Her husband never forgave her. The reason I say that is because this has been used against Martin in terms of that there is one really key factor of
Motive.
conduct disorder. There are two things. One's called opposition defiance disorder and one's called conduct disorder. And one of the defining features is this capacity to hold resentment.
Yeah.
And
Which is what Mullen points out.
yes, and the example he gives are things like this.
Yes,
But
and
if
he
you've
explains.
but
Yes.
if you've grown up with a father who holds resentment and it's modeled for you, then you've got to wonder how that, translates to a son who spends most of his time with his father.
Yep.
I just point that out for interest.
They are saying that Martin was pissed because the Martins didn't let him sell the property instead of.
I don't believe it's true.
No.
Sorry, husband never forgave her for not letting him buy the farm, which she described as a beautiful place. That farm was eventually bought by the Martins. Mr.
So it's not
Bryant.
Seascape.
Yes, it is. The Martins were Seascape. Yes. Yeah, the Martins were Seascape.
I'm getting confused now. It's
Sally and David.
Yes.
The Martins. Sally
Yes.
and David Martin. I know. And David Martin and Martin Bryant used to play together.
Right.
The son.
Yep.
Mr. Bryant repeatedly told Bryant. Mr. Bryant repeatedly told. Okay. His dad repeatedly told him about his dissatisfaction with the Martins buying the farm, and on one occasion, his dad instructed him to go to the Martins and approach them with the question of selling that farm. Martin would have at this point been around 18 to 20, which means that was around 10 years before this happened.
Yeah.
That is a long time.
Grudge.
Well, yes, but it's a long time before this. If we're talking that was the reason,
the motivating factor,
and it had absolutely nothing to do with Port Arthur.
No.
Like there was no reason to go to Port Arthur.
I don't even understand how Seascape even comes into the equation. Like it's got no. How do you go from there to there? And
oh, well, the Seascape, this is the connection. This is the Seascape part. So, I mean, I can tell you the way that they tell. I can tell you two stories. I can tell you the story that I can tell you the narrative that's put forth or the suggested alternative.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a third alternative, but whatever. But who knows? I mean, we just don't know, do we? So
you think that was where he was planning to hide out after Port Arthur, or
no? I don't think he was at Port Arthur.
No, neither do I.
So
it sees that the whole time.
Yeah, I think he was taken to Seascape. So, yeah, I don't think he was intending to go there at all. He may have been. I don't know. Maybe he was. Maybe he was meeting there. Maybe that was the site of whatever it was. I think he was taken there, though. I think he was already drugged when he was there. I think he was very confused when he woke up. But he said he was never in the main house at Seascape, which is where the person was who was talking on the phone to negotiators.
You don't
and and where the only phone was. No, I don't. No, it's in his interview. He says he wasn't there. He says he was not in the house. He never went into the house. And if we believe other things in his interview, why don't we believe that? He doesn't say it any differently. So I don't know how we can't, like, why we wouldn't believe that. No one ever talks about it, though.
I read that he didn't go to Port Arthur, but I didn't.
No, he says he wasn't in that part of that. He wasn't in the house. He was just in the other areas. Which is why he came from the side. He didn't actually come out of the house area. That was all alight and collapsing when Martin came out from another side
I actually
area.
found a Channel 7 news thing that I was looking at this afternoon, and I did a screen grab of it. I'll try and bring it up, but you keep going and it shows that actual.
There's a very good podcast by a Chino, come here. Come and say hello. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Come and say hello. He's quiet now anyway. The podcast is by one of the SAS members. He's a Victorian SAS member, and he was in charge of the snipers. So he actually was in one place for like 13 hours or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that night. So hang on a sec. Good boy. Come up here. Come up here. Come on. Jump up. Come on. Come here. Come on. Jump up. Come on. Is it too tall? Come on. He's just looking at me. He's very excited. Come on. Come here. Come on. Oh, come here. Okay. All right. We're back. Put your ears up high. Let everyone see your ears.
Hello.
There we go. Okay. All right. Guest on stream. Right. There we go. You've got to get your ears up a bit higher. Oh, there we go.
You need puppy cam. You need another cam.
Yeah, that's right. Puppy cam indeed.
I got kitty cam.
There you go. Yeah, you're not quite that lucky, are you, Chino? Where's my mouse gone?
The funny thing was that I got to the kitty cam because whilst I was on the stream, these cats would be running backwards and forwards across my desk, and all you could see was their tail going, whoop.
Oh my gosh. Now, the interesting thing here is that it is said here that when Martin's dad got slightly drunk, he would talk about the Martins and how upset he was that they didn't get the farm. And listen to this one. Indeed, Mrs. Bryant indicated quite strongly her disappointment that her husband would talk of such things to Martin. Ah, dear, that just made me laugh so much. Indicated quite strongly her disappointment that her husband would talk of such things. So it sounds like she was she had quite a firm way of her way. Yeah. Then it goes through
looked up any family history?
I've looked up the Bryant family history, but not necessarily their family. What in terms of what?
Indication that there was any ADHD or anything.
You can't tell that.
Yeah.
I don't know how you'd be able to tell.
Yeah.
Especially as
anyway.
I mean, especially as, I mean, you'll see here they describe him as hyperactive and all that sort of thing. He was tried on medication, which is great because they weren't putting many on medication, which tells you how severe it was. But
you don't get an evaluation on how that worked, or did they teach the parents any techniques on, you know?
Well, they're with kids with ADHD, the techniques are discipline.
Oh.
It's kind of parenting, like someone was talking about this on a stream the other day, actually, Dr. Patrice Berry. She's a really good psychologist, and she was saying this about opposition defiance disorder, actually, and how she hates diagnosing kids with it because the parents just get taught intervention skills and it doesn't actually teach anyone anything. Basically, it sounds like his dad had depression and anxiety, and Martin's problems actually weighed on him very, very heavily. And apparently he threatened suicide a few times before he actually did commit suicide. So,
well, that's sad.
Here we've got a note here about Dr. Cunningham Dax as well. So,
because Martin left school the day before he turned 16, didn't he?
Let's skip to that, actually, because that's quite important. So we'll skip over we'll skip back a few years, I guess, so if you go to page...
Now, next week,
22
will be on to what?
22.
Okay. We're doing, we're following the money. Helen Harvey.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, well, that one will be good there. Yep. So 22.
Okay.
So he had speech therapy for 2 years. Then he went to this exclusive school in France. But I'm not even sure whether I think he did 1 year at Friends. I wasn't even sure whether he made it through a full year. And what's really interesting thing to me is that's a private school. And I don't know what your experience, Jodie, is. But it's quite unusual, I would have thought, for a private school to say this is not an appropriate education and that he be sent to the local primary school. I mean, that doesn't... But
it would
now...
how bad his behaviour was.
I was just going to say, so because...
They can.
Because, okay, so when you say it's not an appropriate education, you go, that sounds unusual. Then you keep reading and it says his academic progress was extremely slow. And you go, well, why couldn't they help him?
Because that would affect
okay, so let's keep reading. Yes. Then it says, however, problems continued at Newtown, and even in grade 1, he was referred to a psychiatrist. He began to see Dr. Rushton in his early years at Newtown Primary. He was diagnosed as being hyperactive with very little ability to concentrate. So I'd say he was incredibly disruptive of friends, and they did not want him there.
I went to a private school, and if you weren't getting a certain percentage by year 10, out, mate, because that affected their percentage.
This is prep. And if you saw the kids' uniform at Friends, you would laugh.
How are you doing? Welcome.
My dad's son went to Friends. So I know what the uniform looks like because I used to tease David about it. So
I went to a Catholic school, it didn't work.
Yeah. You know, that it's the school where the little preppies even wear a blazer and cap. It's quite a uniform. So
I'm getting there, Jen. I'm getting there. You know.
all right. By the end of 1974, so that would have been grade, all right,
3.
it was 3 or 4, 71, 72, 73, 70. So 74. So by the end of grade 1, which was 1974, it was realised his behaviour was sufficiently disruptive for placement at the Hobart Assessment Centre in 1975. So that was grade 2. Thus, he spent the first term of the school year at that centre. Seems he remained for a protracted stay as his parents went to England.
So it was a like a boarding school.
Yeah, I guess. I worked for a little while at the Austin Adolescent School, which was for kids with mental health issues. It was a
At the
great
Austin
school.
Hospital here.
Yeah, it was fantastic. We used to take them away rock climbing and stuff. It was great.
I
But-
hated my psych placements. I hated them.
But God, grade 2. Can you imagine? Like, where would they have lived? I mean, it makes me actually a bit, like, I just know of so many horrible, horrible stories about that era and live in residential facilities. I'm not sure that I've actually heard any good stories.
Hmm.
There must be some, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
somewhere.
I say there must be some, but the school unit at the assessment centre indicated in their report that he could enjoy creative activities and that in a small group his behaviour was acceptable. Acceptable. It seems that he was not confident, but when emphasis was placed on what he could do, he would respond well and was anxious to please. It was noted he had difficulty with self-expression and syntax. It was also apparent that school would often telephone Mr. and Mrs. Bryant, indicating their frustration with their son. How interesting is that?
Yeah.
So the school would phone them in England.
Wow.
A report from the assessment centre. So these reports have been subpoenaed and are being read by the forensic psychologist. So these are from him in grade 2 and are being read by the forensic psychologist when he's 28. Which is pretty phenomenal, really, when you look at it. A report from the assessment centre indicated that he had demonstrated some aggressive, destructive behaviour, kicks and spits, and has been known to urinate over other children. In 1975, when his parents
That
were
would piss you off.
overseas, yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, you're hilarious. In 1975, when his parents were overseas, I'm just going to keep going. Don't mind Jodie. We'll just mute her. Actually, I can't mute her. She's in charge. Damn it.
I can mute me.
When his parents were overseas, the school unit at the assessment centre indicated that his aggressive, often physically wounding actions could no longer be tolerated, and assistance was called for from professionals who could offer class teachers some ideas of how to deal with his problems. So, Jodie, what did you say to me today that you didn't believe? You didn't believe he would hurt what?
Animals.
Okay, so let me read that again.
Yeah, I wasn't
When his
listening.
parents
I
were
was listening.
overseas, the school unit at the assessment centre indicated that his aggressive, often physically wounding actions could no longer be tolerated, and assistance was called for from professionals who could offer class teachers some ideas of how to deal with his problems.
Did you think that was out of boredom or frustration?
Keep reading and we'll get some idea. But I actually think if I was drawing a picture of this kid, I don't think he knew, and I think he still doesn't know how to actually have a conversation.
He's got no social cues whatsoever. No.
I think he's got a pragmatic language disorder, which is very, very hard to define and explain. But when you see it, it is so clear.
I've got a nephew who was diagnosed with ADHD, and it's right up the end.
So pragmatic language disorder is often seen in autism, and it's a completely separate disorder, because you can have a pragmatic language disorder and not have any other problems. But it is so disabling because you look completely normal. You can even have a normal IQ, but you will do so badly in anything that requires you to interact with people, anything. And so any
That's how I feel
sort
now.
of yeah, she's freaking shocking in person, I tell you. You think she's bad online? You should see her in person. Far out. When I came on stream today, you'll never believe.
Yes, I forgot to close my camera and microphone, and I was sitting here and I was adjusting the camera, and so I had to get up and go to the background. So I was bent over the background trying to set up the lights. So you see my butt crack. And Bron's trying to get my attention because I had the sound going through my headphones and I didn't have them on, so I couldn't hear it. She's like,
I was like,
yeah, I'm like a mullet. I'm like your YouTube mullet. I'm like business on the top.
oh dear.
Oh, look, they're used to it now. Fuck.
Oh my God, it was so funny. Oh jeez. Okay, so and then they so after that year, then they stopped reporting. So there's a year where there's
Too
no
hard
reports.
basket handball.
Yeah, I think so.
Pretty much.
And
yeah.
then all of a sudden he's back at Newtown Primary. And then they started suspending him. So from grade 4, he was being continually suspended.
But he wasn't on medication or anything then, was he?
No, he was off the medication. So disobedience, disruptiveness. Now, listen to this. This is really quite interesting. So vocally disruptive. So, and that's not talking. Vocally disruptive, it's things like silly sounds, and being being intrusive, noisy, intrusive, socially unacceptable to his peers, and often quite nasty. It was reported that during breaks he would go out of his way to be provocative to other children, and yet appeared to have no real appreciation of the consequences of his behaviour. Yep. So it's very, very clear that he has no way to engage people.
No.
So he gets their attention.
Yep.
Rather than actually engaging them. Like it's
that's an example. My brother was an undiagnosed ADHD because he was born in 1973, and he did the same thing. So he was very hyperactive and didn't do well at school because no one actually took the time to assess him or anything like that. So he ended up later on in life self-medicated. But my dad was very, like, I was your nerdy straight A student, and so he also felt like there was
highly intimidated by your intelligence.
And because we were at the same school, they'd be like, "Oh, you're Jodie's little brother," and the teachers would have the same expectations of him too. So he then rebelled and did the opposite, and he became a little turd basically, and was doing. You end up burgling places and stealing and shit, and that was how he got my dad's attention, was by bad behaviour, and that was learned then.
Yeah.
But it's all good. He's found God now, so it's
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah. Yep.
We've got a mini violin.
So this just screams at me, like, because his son is the son that has the ADHD,
right.
and
Okay.
His mother, it's ever since he was born, any little tiny thing that he ever did wrong, she blamed on his ADHD.
Yeah, I can
Bullshit.
imagine that.
That is a behaviour.
And look, if I was looking at this report for signs of, say, antisocial behaviour, there's heaps of signs here. But the thing about, and you'll notice that none of the forensic psychiatrists name antisocial personality disorder. None of them.
No.
And the reason is
disorder, but
that it's not there.
Yeah. And there was no plan. There was nothing to guide people either. Like,
well, it's
give a diagnosis, but
I mean, I think there's this diagnosis called conduct disorder. And that's, I mean, it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's like when a child just is really poorly behaved. I mean, I'll just say it like it is. I mean, they're just
little turds.
They don't know how to behave. Like, that's what it looks like. It's a lot more complex than that, but just at its really fundamental level. I'm not trained in child and adolescent psychology or psychiatry, and that's very firmly in child and adolescent area. It's a diagnosis that's only made up until 18. Then if you step down from that, there's a diagnosis called opposition defiance disorder.
I've heard that, yeah.
And if you ask me what it's called, I'll always say oppositional defiance disorder because it doesn't sound right if I say opposition defiance disorder, but it's opposition defiance disorder. I don't know why, it's a stupid name. It should be oppositional defiance disorder. And that is, I think actually somewhere in my notes I had somewhere, I might be able to tell you what the difference is. But conduct disorder, if someone is diagnosed with conduct disorder, they're really highly likely to go on to have antisocial personality disorder. But if someone is diagnosed with conduct disorder, they have almost always been diagnosed with opposition defiance disorder before it.
They go hand in hand.
So it goes, no, before. So it goes opposition defiance disorder, gets worse, conduct disorder, and then that is like the childhood version of antisocial personality disorder. And antisocial personality disorder is, it's not, antisocial personality disorder is, I think of one particular patient I worked with when I was about 22. So just a few years ago. 5, 6, maybe a bit more. Jodie's not even laughing. She thinks that it's true. Don't
what
you,
guy?
Jodie?
Sorry, I was.
You weren't even listening.
I was.
Thanks.
No, I had to hear on you.
I said that when I was 22 was just a few. It was just a few years ago.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, I have. Oh God, that's really small to read. Yeah, I've got notes here. I can summarize them and put them in the chat here. Oh, hang on. Here we go. Okay, this is my research. Is oppositional defiance disorder characteristics. So this is the lowest of the two of them. So the least. Involves a pattern of angry, irritable mood, argumentative, defiant behaviour, and vindictiveness, often directed at authoritative figures. A fatuous affect, which means that grinning, that really irritating smiling when you're telling a kid off. This term describes a superficial and often inappropriate display of emotion. It can be a way of masking true feelings or avoiding responsibility, or it can be simply, I don't get this whole emotion thing. I don't know what I'm supposed to be feeling. I'm feeling something and I've got no idea what to do. So I'll laugh. and then it becomes a habit. A child with ODD might experience a fatuous affect in situations where they are expected to show remorse or take responsibility for their actions. This could manifest as a forced smile, a lack of genuine empathy, or an attempt to minimize the severity of their behavior. It's crucial to consider the context when assessing a child's affect. A brief, superficial response might be a coping mechanism rather than a core symptom of ODD. If a child with ODD consistently displays a fatuous affect, it might indicate a lack of emotional regulation, which is often seen in ADHD and in autism, or a deeper difficulty in understanding and responding to social cues, which is what pragmatic language disorder is. So you can see there already, if we've got ODD, we're crossing over the lines between ADHD, autism, and pragmatic language disorder. So there's 4 diagnoses there that are all crossing over each other, and Martin fits them all. And I read a really, really interesting study about mixed emotional abilities in children with oppositional defiance disorder, impairments in perspective taking and understanding mixed emotions are associated with high callous, unemotional traits. So if they've got impairment in their perspective or their understanding of different emotional states, they're more likely to be callous and unemotional, which is how he was described. And that's a trait of opposition defiance disorder.
Yeah. And
So
that's where
again,
it comes in when he was not particularly well.
so when he's being mean. Yeah, when he's being mean to other children and that sort of thing. So and it's really interesting how in his interview with the police, he laughs when they're talking about people being shot. And you think, what on earth would he laugh at that for?
Yeah.
But it's also a sign that, I mean, that's that real fatuous affect. He doesn't know like what to do or what emotion he should be showing.
Yep.
And that's a classic sign. And you wonder, well, if he's been doing that since he was young, I mean, how much must that have pissed people off?
Yep.
They've probably been pissing off people for a long, long time, I think.
I reckon.
And yet, he hasn't actually got into trouble.
No.
So he was a pain in the butt, but he wasn't actually, yeah.
Can I just share this?
Yeah, go for it.
I was listening to this afternoon and I clipped it because this is a news report back in when it actually happened. Where are we? Window. There. And add to stage. All right. Ready to go.
Good evening.
Oh, gosh.
Can you hear that? You can hear it?
I just remember that newscaster.
Where at least 25 people have been shot dead in Australia's worst massacre. Another 26 are wounded. The government is holding police at bay. He's believed to be holding at least...
I hate it when that happens.
Most of the victims are reported to be tourists visiting the historic penal colony at Port Arthur. And the warning that some of the pictures in this report may be disturbing. Helicopters began ferrying the injured to Hobart from Port Arthur after a gunman opened fire there this afternoon. We've had a gunman run amok on the Port Arthur historic site. That's 85 k's from Hobart. Happened mid-afternoon. There are at least 12 confirmed dead, if not 22. There's a further 15 injured at the moment. We have a hostage and siege situation to attempt to contain and control. The convict ruins are a favourite with interstate and overseas tourists. It's understood those visitors have made up the bulk of those killed or wounded. Locals near the site cringed in fear inside their shops and homes as the government opened fire.
Who wants to speak out?
What do you understand he may have done?
Kill what people?
Let's Wendy
Any idea
Fisker.
why?
No idea.
Any idea who he was?
No idea. Not a local, I don't think.
See, she knows Martin.
Yes, it has been.
That just sounds awful.
It is awful. It's very, very awful.
A few minutes ago, reports put the death toll at 25 dead. Some of those killed apparently incinerated in a car near the ruins. Another 15 people have been badly injured. It's understood the siege has now moved to a cottage on the site.
All right.
The young man apparently holding
Okay.
one, possibly more hostages.
I know,
Police
Grumpy.
the cottage
I
as
know.
special
It's
operations
bedtime.
officers continue negotiations. It's understood the gunman is a 22-year-old
22?
machine gun. What sparked the massacre isn't known at this stage. Special police hotlines have been set up for people who fear.
No, it wasn't that one. It was the other one. Fuck. Anyway, that was
Defends its message.
stop. I'll have to upload the other one. It was to do with
Seascape.
yeah, but it was the media straight away. Straight away.
Did you
Sorry.
just bare your teeth at me? Was that a smile? Was it a smile?
Right.
You're going to upload it in the background?
Oh yeah, I will. Yeah.
So they thought he'd improved in grade 5, and then in grade 6, he'd lost interest in schoolwork completely.
Yep.
And then he got a burn to his leg because he set off a firework.
Yeah, we've all seen that video.
Yep. Okay. Then, and also in 1979, so this is grade 6 as well. Aggressive physical cruelty demonstrated previously had not recurred to any great extent. So the time when he was cruel to animals was when he was quite young, but it wasn't persistent, which is also quite interesting. So you wonder whether that might have been a reaction to maybe his parents being away or something like that,
Yeah.
or trying to work through emotions, or don't know. His learning ability, particularly his reading, was holding him back. Again, pragmatic language disorder is classic for difficulty with reading and writing. He was often sent from the class, which didn't assist in his classroom, in his learning classroom. Classroom learning techniques, that should have been. When he was sent from primary school to secondary school, it was noted that he had a thick file at the Hobart Assessment Centre.
A thick file.
A thick file, as in he'd been assessed a lot of times. Okay, so yeah, this is funny. His father was still working as a water. Oh,
What?
Jody, what did I tell you his father did for a job today?
Water slide worker.
A what?
He worked in a water slide.
A water.
That teacher. She was analysing like, why would he be working in a kids park like a playground with a water slide?
I
Water
thought it
slide.
said, and I'm pretty sure it does further back, that he was a water slide worker, as in, you know, at a pool.
Yeah.
A water side worker. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
A lot more sense. That makes so much more sense because remember they went diving. Because he let Martin learn how to scuba dive, and Martin actually got a lot of benefit from the
and then
deep pressure.
Around his neck.
That was sad.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's very odd.
Yeah, it is.
However,
how is that possible?
Well, because his learning difficulties were diagnosed and he began working with Spelled.
So you can read, but you might not be able to write still.
Well, it's reading and writing. I actually did Spelled with my kids. So there you go.
Spell?
I mean, it's spelled as a speech therapy. It's a version of speech therapy,
Okay.
but it's a focus really on its speech, language, and writing. But it's very structured, phonetics, essentially. Were you taught phonetically?
I don't think so. Oh, probably.
Like the letter A makes A-R,
Yes.
three
yes.
sounds?
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't. So by the time I went through, and there's not much of an age difference between us, that had gone out.
How old are you?
49. Minus 20. I'm 29. Okay, that's not going to wash. 49. Yeah, let's go 49.
I'll be 54 in a week.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Better get that present happening, hadn't I?
No.
Chino, yeah. Do you want a new home? Oh, he came.
My cats love that.
Yeah, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they? Here, kitty cats. I've got a new friend for you. Yeah, that's very interesting that they thought he was the best in class.
Yes.
Okay, so social adjustment was a problem. Look, he was in remedial classes all the way through secondary school. He was a disruptive influence. His social judgment was poor. He was a silly boy.
Jim? I hate that.
I don't like that word either, but it's very British.
Yes. And it's broad. Like, can you be a little bit more fucking specific?
But you know what? It actually does describe developmental delay in a social context. So, it's actually not a bad description. But it is noted that he is a silly boy during his lessons, anxious to hit other boys or just create a disturbing influence. There's just so much moral.
Yeah.
Interestingly, in some of the subjects, interestingly, in some of the subjects in which he had formerly had difficulties, such as English, he was reported to be trying to make a better effort, and his conduct had improved.
And did they praise him for that? Did they?
Don't know.
Yeah.
So, it sounds like he was trying hard.
They just didn't know.
His father reported to the school in mid-1981, so year 9, that he hoped Bryant was like an oak tree and matures eventually.
Like a
But by the end of 1981, it was reported that he did not feel obliged to follow school rules and consequently got into trouble too often.
Operational defiance disorder.
It's just really sad. I love these little quotes. So we've got here, his grade master indicated. Oh dear.
Grade master?
Yeah, I know.
Oh dear, Martin does nobody a service.
Martin does nobody a service. Martin does nobody a service by behaving in this manner.
You pompous git.
Exactly. His report in the trade subjects would have been satisfactory if he did not, quote, interfere with others in the class. He had, this is all a quote. He had no interest in motor mechanics and refused to participate. Indeed, an interest in cars has never been a feature of his life at all. No, it's not. You didn't close your quote, Dr. Joblin. Do I have to do it for you? Apparently I do. At times he totally lost his temper and self-control. It's sounding like he's trying harder, but he has difficulty with, what's the word? Impulsivity. That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah.
That he's actually very impulsive. And you see some of that in some of the descriptions of what he was like later. Like, even the amount of money he used to spend.
Yeah.
But when you hear the amount he used to spend with Helen, I mean,
That
far
is
out.
example.
They would spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money. A message to Bryant from the principal indicates the real man tries to control his temper. I know it is difficult, but try.
See, it's all judgment. There's no structure. Like, it's all well and good to
Just
go
like
bad,
those
bad. But you've got to. That's your job to educate him. You need to find the way that he learns. It is his own learning plan. Hello.
Yep, that's right. That's absolutely right. So we know that he wasn't ever diagnosed with schizophrenia.
No.
That actually, let's just skip back to all his different IQ reports, IQ scores. Page 15. There's a really good table there.
Good.
One up. Yep, that table right there. You can almost fit it on. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So what we're looking at here is the full scale IQ, which is the third column from the right. And the reason that percentage is highlighted. Yes.
Fuck.
Correct. It went down dramatically.
Wow.
No, you've got the wrong one highlighted. Looking at the third one from the right.
Oh, it's adjustable. Look at that.
So I don't know which one you were looking at. Probably verbal IQ.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where you'd start to wonder
How
about
do you get two different ones on the same day?
which ones. What do you mean?
So he's got the score of 66 here on the 6th of the 6th, and he's got 68 here on the 6th of the 6th. I suppose it's just a matter of one.
They're different assessments. Yeah, they're different assessments.
Yeah.
So they were all done on the same day, but they're actually different assessments.
Mm.
And you can see that the verbal and the performance IQ, they're different. So his verbal IQ, I'm pretty sure that is a 64. But I will double check that for you.
Yes.
It is?
Yeah.
So my screen's really difficult to see this one. I don't like it. So his verbal IQ is much lower than his performance. And that's because he was actually average at something. There was something that he came back as average in. Visuospatial problem solving, he scored in the average range. Everything else, he was in the lowest 2 percentile.
Yeah.
So 98% of the population at his age would score above him.
Yeah.
Although it had, the reason why I had the percentage highlighted there is because it had a percent sign, but usually those are not a percent. It's usually a percentile. So that's why I've written percentile there, because I've never heard it called a percent, ever.
Yep.
I've only ever heard it called a percentile.
Well, there's too much variance.
But in everyday language, they're pretty similar. Like the way we would understand it, they're pretty similar. The thing I think that is really important to see on these is that they're relatively similar.
Why would he go down though?
Because he's not getting the one-to-one. So he's not being engaged in learning,
Yep.
and he's not having the stimulation
Yep.
in the areas that engage him. And also, that's why the neuropsych was questioning whether he'd had some sort of brain injury.
In the car accident.
Yeah,
What
that's
year was
what he
that? That
suspected.
was 93, wasn't it? So
Yeah, so
that-
it was only a matter of years before.
Yeah.
But I don't think he'd had a CT scan beforehand. So I'm not sure if there was a comparison. And I don't think we see any results of the CT scan.
I haven't found anything, and I've been
I
looking.
know
I
that.
go straight for the medical stuff.
Oh, that's just going to be. Oh, this was really hard to search last time, I remember. I'll have a look another time, but yeah. Okay, on page 19 is a manual finger tapping test.
Oh,
So have a look at that. Yep, just below that.
the Peabody picture.
Yeah, that's a really common one. Keep going.
Oh.
Yep, there. Oop. Up. Up. There.
Manual finger tapping.
Okay, this is a test measuring fine motor control requiring kinesthetic ability, motor speed, and visual motor coordination. Relative deficits in either hand reflect injury to the contralateral hemisphere. That
Unless
means
you've got arthritis.
crossing sides. However, bilateral deficits can indicate, meaning both sides. So if there's difficulty with both hands, can indicate injury to the left dominant hemisphere because of its control over overall coordination.
Yep.
And this was Martin's result. On both dominant and non-dominant hands, Bryant indicated deficits.
Oh.
So let's go back.
Cool.
Okay, so without me finishing even that sentence, let's go back to what it was testing. So we know now that he's got deficits in both the dominant and the non-dominant hand. So he's got deficits in this study, in this test, on his right and his left hand, and it was measuring, and that's hand and finger of fine motor control requiring kinesthetic ability, which is the actual movement of the body through space or through space. So the actual movement.
Crash that is towards that. Yep.
Motor speed, so the ability, so the speed at which the body can move or the finger can move, and visual motor coordination. Now, what sorts of things do you need to be able to pull a trigger and shoot a gun and be accurate?
Ah, boom, boom.
I don't know why this wasn't used.
Hello. Fuck.
I mean, they've pulled it out as maybe it's left hemisphere difficulties, but how the heck this wasn't used, I have no idea. And I would say, because unless this is pulled apart and explained, it is written in such a complex way.
Fuck.
Because it is all in medical language. What a shame.
Yep.
So that could have been really, really key.
Wow.
So it's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
but then they didn't get an opportunity to go to trial anyway, so.
No, they didn't. But I mean, it is interesting to see that. I mean, again, there's more evidence that he really didn't have the physical capacity or the coordination physical capacity to be able to shoot a gun in the way that it was shot at Port Arthur. The next test there just shows that he has some difficulty with writing. And then the next page says that he has some difficulties with calculation. He's got a lot of spelling difficulties and a lot of difficulties with expressing himself. So that's not just saying what he means, that's being appropriate in his speech.
That's how his brain functions.
Yeah.
Like it's a completely
Yeah,
different.
organising thoughts, and
Yes.
I think he doesn't know how to have a conversation. So if you don't know how to have a conversation, you would
Know how
mimic.
to read the room.
You would mimic a conversation, and so if you're mimicking a conversation, you ask people questions, and then they answer,
We know
and
he
then
did
you
that.
ask them another question, and
We know he
then
would mimic, yes, because he remember on his date, his girlfriend said that he got the newspaper out and pretended to read it.
oh right, I didn't know that.
Mhm.
Well, there's all these stories about the reason why they think he went overseas so much was because when people were strapped into the seat next to him.
Oh, they're a captive audience. They said he liked it more in the plane than he did the destination. Yes,
Yeah, he loved it. He loved sitting
Yeah.
on the aeroplane
captive
with
audience,
people
yeah.
next to him. I mean, but you have to say it's pretty sweet. I mean, you can understand, but somewhere it's in here. I'll read you the quote. It's pretty funny. It is pretty funny when he
I did
says
read
it.
that today somewhere, actually.
It's under travel in here. There's a little heading called travel. I'm sure it's in here. Yeah, here it is. Hang on. There is no doubt that the travel that Martin did on his own was based not on his wish to see what other countries had to offer, but more on the need to be in close proximity to other people. Indeed, at the time of my interview with Martin on the 6th of June 1996, he asked me many somewhat pathetic questions about my personal life. When I questioned Bryant on this, he indicated that those were the same questions he would ask people when travelling. It is quite understandable under those conditions that Bryant would have few friends. That's not a judgment. That's just saying it like it is.
Imagine.
It's not a judgment. He's saying they were somewhat pathetic.
With someone, the poor bastard. Like,
I mean, yeah, exactly. And he's making actually a very clear statement there. It is understandable that he would have few friends because there's no reciprocal give and take here. The interesting thing is that when his father took him overseas with Helen Harvey, she came to the attention of authorities because she was complaining so much. Then, when he went overseas on his own, he came to the attention of authorities. And apparently, he touched down in the US. He wasn't even allowed out of the airport. And he was sent back again.
Really?
Yeah. It is in here. On one occasion, on a plane to Los Angeles, he apparently touched a young girl on her leg.
Oh.
This matter was reported, and on arrival at Los Angeles, Bryant was not allowed to stay in America. He left on the first,
cancelled,
which was to Europe. On another occasion, which may well have been the last occasion when he travelled overseas, he had been away for 2 weeks. When he returned, he was apparently questioned in Melbourne as to the possibility of his trafficking in drugs.
Oh, really?
Yep. So
this was.
I haven't given you any information about his psych background at all, but oh well, it's been very interesting. Like what they found out about him was actually very interesting. I'm thinking about all the psych stuff. Yeah, exactly. That's right. I know. We've been down so many little rabbit holes, haven't we?
Yeah, it's easy to do. All right, this was what I recorded this afternoon about, and it struck me because the actual news presenter picks it up and play. Go.
Isn't it playing?
No.
Go.
Oh shit.
Did you just fall off your chair?
Nearly. But why is that green thing?
Play.
Yeah.
That was there before too.
Was it?
Might be something about.
Oh, good pause.
Hi.
Oops.
I remember him too. This is the face of a killer.
Yeah.
Is that right? Am I right?
Yes. I actually found the clip. Now,
The library got back to me too and gave me. They've sent me a link of where I can find the 90s articles from Tasmania.
Can you hear that or not?
Joining us now live from Royal Hobart Hospital.
Just.
All right.
Undergoing
It's not a very nice way to speak to me.
And surgeons alike. When
Okay. Bad pause. What you gonna do?
Yeah, he is being annoying. Bad pause.
last condition this morning.
Oh, fuck, you do it. The fuck?
It's paused.
It won't let me go full screen.
Hmm.
Son of a mongoose. I'll just play it.
Chino, shush.
Serious but stable. He's been under constant watch overnight under that very tight police guard in an isolated wing of the hospital. There have been some concern from the relatives of his alleged victims that he was in fact in the same building. The hospital management tells us he's well away from the people still in hospital after the weekend shootings, and he's been undergoing assessment from psychologists and surgeons alike. When are charges likely to be laid against him, Anna?
They're called psychiatrists, by the way.
Quickly because of all the publicity. They're very conscious of not jeopardising his chances of a fair trial, and that seems to be dashed already here in Hobart. The local newspaper this morning, judge and jury already making up its mind.
Yep.
There's nothing ambiguous about this headline or the photo. Despite attempts yesterday to cover his head when he was admitted to the hospital, identification has already become a real legal issue and is causing police a great deal of concern. Now, they hope to charge him with at least 2 of the murders today so they can have him remanded in custody and get on with the huge task of preparing a brief for all 35 murders. Now, it's likely it will be a bedside court hearing, that he will not be well enough to leave the hospital to appear in the Hobart court. And what do you hear about the survivors? Well, the survivors, as that report mentioned, a lot have been released. There were 5 on the critical list. They're yet to be interviewed by police. Among those to be spoken to by detectives, those who came face to face with the alleged gun.
Yeah.
They're outnumbering the survivors too.
Yeah, there you go. Straight on it the next morning.
You know that there were survivors that actually offered to give to actually ID him in person, and because they knew Martin Bryant.
Yep, they used to go down there all the time with Helen for afternoon teas and shit.
Yeah, no, not from. So his surname's Collier. I've just lost the first name. Graham Collier.
Graham, that's right, Graham. Yes.
So he said, I can do an ID if you like. Like, I can tell you whether the guy you've got is the guy that I saw in the cafe, or I can do a lineup if you want to organise a lineup. I'm quite happy to do that. If you want to take photos, whatever. And they said, no, it's all good, mate. Thanks.
Yeah.
He was in hospital and he had not seen any media because he'd been unconscious. No, he'd been unconscious. But as soon as he woke up, he wanted to help because he'd lost all his family and everyone else that he was there with. So, yeah. They were certain they had the right person, whether that was intentional or.
Well, apparently there's only 2 of those 180 that actually.
The thing is that Petra said that the voice on the phone sounded like him. She threw him under the bus with the Prince sports bag. She threw him under the bus with a certain photo. She gave an interview to the police. She gave one media interview, and no one knows where she is now.
Uh-huh.
No one knew where she was from within a year. Mm-hmm. She never went to any trials. She never visited him.
Should have been paid off.
Maybe. That's not my belief, but maybe. I think she was part of it.
Oh.
I think she was his handler.
You mean you're going back to MK Ultra?
No. No.
Hang
No.
on, what?
Just in terms of an organised op. So she, would take him to meet people, would make sure that he was doing what he needed to do, would make sure he got to where he needed to be, would, just generally guide him. He'd be very easy to do that with,
Sure.
but he'd need someone to be with him. So the best way to do that would be to infiltrate his life.
Yeah.
I don't think it could have been done any other way.
Well, that's why it gets me with, like, my theory was how he kept calling himself Jamie. And I thought, well, how easy would it be for someone to say, let's swap identities for the day, and I'll pretend to be you and you can pretend to be me. My name's Jamie and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
No, the theory is that they actually had a script. So that in Tasmania, they used to do a lot of training for police operations and for special groups and in emergency services and that sort of thing, and they often used to get civilians involved. And Martin actually did some of those training exercises, and you'd be given a script, and so that's what they think that he was involved with.
Well,
but I myself don't believe that that's his voice. I hear a different pitch. But you can change the pitch too, and those tapes, those recordings are all destroyed. So we'll never get them back. They're all destroyed. The originals are all destroyed. Yep. It's really unbelievable. That's really awful.
I really, 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 really want to speak to Andrew McGregor.
Yeah, I think he's I don't think he's the keeper of the font of knowledge. I think he's got a particular perspective, and he's got an axe to grind as well. So, and that's very clear. Yeah. Yep. So, and there are some things in his account, like Paul Motors, that don't make sense. So they make leaps in their assumptions where, they don't make sense. But I mean, a lot of it doesn't make sense. But I think if you're going to say he was playing a part, it needs to make sense. And they say, oh, he had night vision goggles, but then he didn't have them, and then he had this and he didn't have that. And to me, it just actually makes a lot more sense if it just wasn't him.
Yeah. Yep.
So there were witnesses that wanted to be interviewed but wasn't allowed. Witnesses that wanted to be interviewed when and by whom?
I think she's talking about maybe Wendy Skur, and because they didn't ever get to trial, they never got to have their say, perhaps.
Yeah, I think you might mean. Do you mean in a trial?
Just use
because they actually were interviewed by police.
Who?
Wendy Skur was interviewed by police.
Yeah, they've got their statements, but they were never actually.
She says that wanted to be interviewed but wasn't allowed. They were interviewed.
Oh, maybe the wrong choice of words, I think.
Yeah.
But
maybe you mean they wanted to give testimony or something. And I mean, the thing is that they didn't ask the right questions. So, and you don't know what you don't know. Like, you don't know what. I mean, if they just simply say, a man with long blonde hair, a young man with long blonde hair, well, that Martin looks like that. So are we going to go into this now?
I was just going to quickly.
Oh, I thought you'd already done this.
Okay. No.
I'm getting really, really tired, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
I'm happy to discuss more psych stuff if people are interested in the psychiatry part of it. I've discussed much more psychology than I have the psychiatry stuff.
Or we can
But
do another.
or even the fitness to plead or whatever.
I just wanted to point that, when he was in the hospital, just the whole, innocent before guilt, innocent, you know what I mean? I'm getting tired too. But yeah, there was no liberty whatsoever and forced to defecate in the sheets.
I don't think that's actually what that means. I mean, it looks like to me. Okay. Might be. I mean, it looks. I can see that there are alternatives. I mean, I'm not saying there are not alternatives, but yeah. I know there are alternatives. It doesn't excuse it. It's awful, but yeah. But you also heard that media report where there are people's relatives, people and their relatives, and all of those people in the hospital. They're all in the same hospital.
Yeah. That's what they kept.
Such a hard thing.
The staff and the hospital themselves, they were subject to like a lot of community stuff. They were getting graffiti, they were having death threats, they were all sorts of stuff. But that's why that police officer that was coordinating the guarding of him, there was at least 7 people at all times, plus doors, one on either side of the doors, and
well, it takes 5. It takes 5 prison guards to take a prisoner who's of a certain level from prison to the hospital for a medical appointment.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me there are 7. Doesn't surprise me at all, and they are not trained. They are just police officers. They're not prison guards.
This was a mixture of police officers, guards, the SOG.
Right. Yeah, I'm not surprised they used a mixture because they wouldn't have had enough otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I know there's 5.
He said he quoted that if like his job was to guard him and protect as well, and he's basically said if anyone comes in and they want to take him, it's all yours.
But he wouldn't have. He wouldn't have. Yep. And I mean, the thing is that they're in an awful situation. I think the whole. I remember it so distinctly.
I was there 2 years before in the March.
Do you remember when it all unfolded? Do you remember that day?
In fact, I rang my mum and she asked me what I was doing, what case I was doing, and I told her. And she's like, oh, wow, he was just mad. He was crazy. Really?
Oh, right. Huh. That's interesting.
Didn't believe me.
Because most people I know had no idea he was crazy. Just thought I
actually found a content creator that put out his story a couple of years ago, and I watched it, and it was the perfect example of what the narrative of the media was, and it basically
it'd be very easy to follow that.
Every time there was something that was really nasty or horrible, they would bring up that photo of him whilst he was being interviewed, and he makes him look crazy every time. It's that social
where he laughs.
Yeah. That was just a photo of him, that one where he looks crazy. He's got the blue jumper on and the hair's everywhere, and it's just a horrible shot of him. But
the photo.
Yes, they brought that up every time.
Where the eyes are changed. Yeah. The Australian was actually had to pay for that. They were charged.
Oh,
The Australian changed his eyes and his eyebrow facial characteristics. It's on Media Watch.
ooh,
Yeah, if you type in Media Watch Martin Bryant image, it comes up. It's very interesting. The Australian did it,
yeah.
but then everyone else used it.
Yeah.
Crazy eyes.
Watch.
And they called it an editing glitch.
Blushy. But you can see that, you know, from that next day, he was already hung, drawn, and quartered.
Yeah, they did. Well, they did it overnight.
Yes. Media
So
Watch,
that's
Martin Bryant. What was it? Photoshop or
Media Watch, Martin Bryant, the Australian photo. It'll come up. But there's a lot of questions about how they got those photos and whether those photos were actually given to police or whether those photos were left at the house for them to collect, whether Petra gave them to the police, whether she had them printed for them. Quite how they got circulated so quickly.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I might have to depart.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I've got to get to the hospital early in the morning.
Yeah, no, I've got an appointment myself. So yes. All right. Well, I would be more than happy to do another stream and finish it off because this is like the pivotal assessment of it. So
Yeah, it's really. I find when I saw that finger test, I felt so sad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would have been really interesting if it had have gone to trial. I don't think he would have had any chance. And I say that looking at even how Erin Patterson went.
I mean, they couldn't have had a change of venue, but even from that next day, that reporter was saying,
well, they were hoping to move it to Victoria anyway. They were trying to, if you look in the early articles, they were trying to move it over to Victoria because they didn't think they'd get any sort of jury.
yeah.
So there was certainly a lot of talk about that. I think they would have had to. And I did wonder whether maybe that's what the why Gunson stayed on in there
until after he was charged.
Yeah, and was then going to hand it over. I'm not sure because I think it would have had to have come over to Melbourne. I don't think they could have coped with it in Tasmania.
No.
Because of the backlash socially.
Yeah. Yeah, he couldn't have had a fair trial there. No way.
No. Mind you, the interesting thing is there was, I think in the end, there was only one person that was affected negatively by him, and that was Carleen. Like his sister was already interstate. She now Carleen's in WA as well. Now, I don't know whether the sister is still there, but I know Carleen's in WA now. I believe she lives in a monastery or a convent or something now.
So she stopped visiting him then?
Oh gosh, yes. Years ago. Years and years and years and years ago.
Oh. So he has no one.
No, he didn't want to see her. No, he didn't want to see her. Which is a very common coping strategy. I mean, it's interesting because my daughter's in hospital at the moment, and she often says to me, "No, don't bother coming in. I'm fine." And she is fine. Like, she actually copes. You know, I almost think she's better without us visiting. It's actually quite interesting. I think
Yeah.
sometimes when you're in a difficult place, it's easier to cope when you're not
suppose-
reminded of what's out there,
Are you okay? Right, and it's just focusing.
which is what I never do to her because I know how annoying it is. So I always just take her in a pizza or something like that.
Yeah.
Suck up to her. I took in Chino yesterday, the dog, not a baby Chino or a cappuccino, but the dog. I don't even know. Do they have cappuccinos in the US?
Yeah.
Because it's a very Italian thing. And I mean, Melbourne's got a very Italian and Greek
Yeah.
coffee thing.
Yeah,
I know it's not at all American coffee.
Yeah.
So
Anyway, well, thank you very much for joining me. That was actually really.
we wandered all over the place.
That's right. No, but it gave me a better perspective of like the big picture, and that's the whole point. Like, you need to be able to, well, not make judgment or anything, but you need. The whole point of this was that his story wasn't told.
Yeah, I know.
And
He never had any chance to have it
For
told.
transparency and for anything, it needs to be out there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So thank you very, very, very,
Yeah.
very much.
No problem.
And we will organise another one because there's a heap we didn't do. Heaps.
Yeah, I know. There's so much there.
It's a rabbit hole for sure.
It's okay. Maybe we could just go through Prof. Mullen's next time, or just through a different
focus on
one, and then I can bring in the parts of this one that we didn't do, or because the psychology is pretty well covered. I mean, there's other things that can be brought out, but yeah. But you'll be able to use parts of this one when you talk about like the money and all of that. There's some really interesting parts in here.
Yeah, so next week I've got a girlfriend who's been doing accounting for years and years and years and years and years, and she's also a good researcher as well. Like, she digs it. I'm like, I can find this, and 2 minutes later she's like, here you go. She sends me the link. I'm like, yeah,
Great.
So she's been on it for the last couple of weeks, and it was her that found the they're not shares, but she's got the right words.
Trust.
So, because there's conflicting reports. Everyone's saying that it could be from.
Well, you saw that the forensic psychologist was told 300 and something thousand.
And then 530, and
so
then
2,000 per week was his was the money he was given from the perpetual trustees.
Yeah, so in 1993 they had a guardianship hearing and they said he wasn't capable of controlling his finances, and that's why they took over. And then, but the money,
and that was largely due to the amount of money.
Yeah,
it wasn't so much that he couldn't handle money; it was because of the sheer volume of money. Because it was a lump sum, as I understand it, or there was access to lump sum.
Yeah. So
that's quite dangerous to someone that is impulsive. And you can imagine if he was.
Oh, he didn't go to drugs, did he?
No. No, maybe he should have. I mean, he was questioned about it. So maybe he should have just gone, yeah. He would have ended up in prison anyway. I'm tired. You can cut that bit off the end of the stream, can't you? I know you won't.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much for joining us. And Wednesday we've got Brandy coming in from Letcher County, Kentucky. She's being interviewed, and she's going to give us a backstory from 2 generations ago on how we got to where we are now with Judge Mullins and why it's so ingrained in that community. It's really, really bad, really. So that's this For Melbourne, it's Wednesday midday. For the US, it's 8 p.m. Tuesday night. So, and then we've got Helen Harvey next week. All right. So cheers. He's looking up your address, and I'll see when I'm looking at you. Bye, bitches.
Don't you be looking up my address.
Just say bye. Bye.
Bye.
Hey there, thanks for stopping in. We hope you will join us again. We all look forward to next time. We get to talk about true crime. Clues. Justice served in an honest fight. True crime tales till the verdict's right. Solving more than just trivial quests, where sentences rule and the defense rests. Our true crime family is great. All types of topics we debate. Smash that like and ring that bell. Hit subscribe, you might as well.